Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
You're listening to the RAP podcast, the Welsh Regional Rugby Appreciation Pod, where we try to cover all the important issues on and off the field in Welsh regional and national rugby. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, all of that information is at the end, so you'll just have to bear with us and get to that bit. In the meantime, enjoy this week's show. Hello and welcome to the festive edition, if you want to call it that, of the Rap Podcast. So joining me, as always, is Rhys Carwyn and Jamie. How are we, gents?
Very good. Yeah,
I'm very good too. How are you?
Even on my leg. Yeah.
Rhys has obviously come down off his tablets.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically, I'm not taking them today just so I could have a beer of the week with you boys, like, isn't it? But yeah. Still, I'm not on the gnarly stuff anymore. It's been down to paracetamol now.
That's dedication, that is, man. I'll forgo.
All for the pod, boys. All for the pod.
So let's start on that one then. Let's start on beer of the week. Has anyone got Christmas beer? Because I've got Christmas beer to like a beer that I got given at Christmas. Has anyone got Christmas beer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You haven't got Christmas beer, Car?
I bought one specifically for tonight, but it was not a Christmas one. It's just I like the look of it. But I was given some, like a dragon's breath from across the channel in Dartmouth from my sister. I got some more stuff. So they'll be on the next edition.
They're on for next. So go on. And you go first with drink of the week. And what have you got for drink of the week?
Well, I've got the Barry Island IPA. So it's 5%, an American-style IPA. Fresh, hoppy, tidy, it says. Inspired by the American IPA revolution, but firmly rooted on the sun-kissed beaches of South Wales.
Sun-kissed.
Yaki da.
Not sure what it's kissed with, but it's not the sun.
Is it brewed in Cardiff? Is it a Cardiff beer?
Well, I'm assuming it is. Yeah, it's a Brains.
It's a Brains one. Ah, okay, fair enough. I didn't know Brains did that one. Jane, what have you got, mate?
I don't have alcohol for this pod because I've had enough of it over Christmas, to be quite frank.
They've broken you.
They've broken Jamie.
I got in a pretty bad state on Christmas Eve, I won't lie. So I haven't drunk alcohol since then. The wife's not happy with me, understandably so. I just don't want to drink at the moment. So I got Coke Zero tonight. That's what I want.
Yeah, okay. We've all been there. Like, so were you out or was it in the house?
No, I went out. I went out to the town centre and had a few drinks. But yeah, I just overindulged. It's my own fault. I mixed my drinks. I went on lager, then I went on cider, and yeah, I may or may not have been sick.
Happens to the best of us, mate. Happens to the best of us.
I'm
on
thinking...
a bus.
That's a whole...
Yeah.
That's a whole pod waiting to happen there. That's just Jamie's night out on Christmas Eve and just how bad he was. If you,
and it just feels like he feels like it just needs to tell the truth as well. Like we can't tell any of that. I'm on a bus, boys.
and it would probably start with, well, officer, what happened was.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. I feel quite embarrassed about it, but it is what it is.
We'll skip over it then. So, Reese, what have you got, mate?
Well, I've been at the opposite end, like, 'cause I've been on painkillers and that over Christmas. So I've just had the odd glass of wine. But this afternoon, my family, so I was going stir crazy in the living room, took me to the Derry Inn for a bit of a meal, and I've had a couple of pints. And I've come back, and this is bought for me over Christmas, Brewdog. We had this before, and what Jamie had the other week, like, those all citrusy. So it's grapefruit infused IPA, and it's lush. It's lush.
Oh yeah.
See, I've gone traditional. I've got one of my my Christmas packs. So this is a Kift Blonde beer. It's a proper one as well. It had a head on it like an ice cream. It was like that, like thick. You know, when you go to the beach and you get the foam off the beach. Well, that's what the top of this one was looking like 2 minutes ago. So it's a Pembrokeshire beer. It's from Llywhaden, in the old schoolroom in Llywhaden, and it's a Cathal Brewery one, Kift Blonde. It's quite nice. It's a proper craft ale because it's cloudy as fuck. Like you can't see through any of that, and there's bits floating in it and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, proper beer.
Great.
That's nice.
Did you all have a nice Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely, thank you. Yeah,
nice,
yeah, good stuff.
Turkey went down well.
So are you going to be allowed out for New Year's though, Jane? Are you going to be?
Yeah, we're out tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to have a couple tomorrow. Yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
You look very sheepish when you say that, mate.
I'm going to stick to the bitter, I think. I'll stick to the bitter. I'm all right on the bitter.
Okay. Right. Let's start on some rugby stuff then. Let's start with the easy one with Cardiff and Dragons. So, which one of you two wants to start on that one?
Oh, let Reece have his moment. Go on then. You can take us. I really don't want to talk about this game at all. But go on, crack on.
I feel like I'm pulling at the chain on this one, like, isn't it? But, well, what an event, though. What an event. Was it great to see all the crowds at Rugby Parade? It was packed full of both supporters, you know, edging towards the Dragons. It was so loud there. I had to watch it on TV. But you could just feel the atmosphere through the TV. It was brilliant. There was old-fashioned dust-ups. It was a really nifty game. But some fantastic rugby being played in it as well, like, isn't it? Like, you know, backs and forwards, like, you know, all showing what they can do, putting their hand up for the national squad, I thought. And yeah, from start to finish, and to be honest, in the first 30 minutes before we opened our try account, I thought, well, we've had a yellow card, and we're 6-0 down. That does not bode well. I said to my wife, I said, "Oh, we've lost this. It's done. What have you?" And then we came back with those 2 tries, and it just the momentum seemed to shift all the way through the game, like between the sides, and it was up for anybody, isn't it? I think we edged the game, but it was 2 very sort of even sides throughout. We both had our purple patches. I'm going to come back and say more. I'm not finished there, but
you're waiting for Jamie to pipe in, and Jamie's being very reserved on this one, boys.
Oh, look, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was absolutely gutted after that game. You know, we was in the car on the way home, and I barely said a word. You know, first of all, Rodney Parade was brilliant. You know, like you said, fantastic atmosphere. It was packed to the rafters, 8,500, brilliant. You know, Cardiff fans played their part as well. You know, it's our local derby, so it was a really good crowd, great event. But you know, it just keeps frustrating me how we keep throwing away these games, and it's always against Cardiff. You know, yet again, it's a game that Cardiff, Dragons lost rather than Cardiff won. We was in control of that game in the last 10 minutes or so. We fought back really, really hard.
Yeah.
And on 78 minutes, there's a couple of areas where I think Cardiff had the edge. I think, first of all, I felt their bench was very good.
Yeah.
So you had Jared Evans coming on for Reece Priestland and took an early knock, and he was just fantastic. That kick at the end, you can't do anything about that. You can't stop those.
The pass to Owen Lane, which
he was
back, isn't it? With the pitch defence coming up, which puts Adams over.
He was a constant menace as soon as he came on the field. And he always seems to do well against us. We struggle, whenever he's on the field against us. And then you had Ellis Jenkins coming off. He wins that turnover, which leads to Jared's kick, and then if Corey John-Cheski comes off. So Cardiff had the edge on the bench, because when the players came on, they made an impact, and I think that's where Dragons were lacking. I think, although our back row worked incredibly hard, we were second best at the breakdown. I thought Thomas Young was exceptional. It's going to be really interesting to see if he does make the Wales squad. I don't think he can do much at the moment. I mean, I know it's very congested at the moment, the Welsh back row, and it's who would you leave out? If you're going to keep saying bringing Thomas Young in, someone has to miss out, and who is going to miss out? I have no idea, but he's on absolute fire at the moment. Although I will say, I thought he was very fortunate not to get a yellow, because there was that bust up with Bradley. Yeah. And look, don't get me wrong, Bradley was, that was silly what he did. It was a cynical trip. It was daft. It was a rush of blood to the head. But then to yank a player by the neck and throw him to the ground like that in retaliation and not get a yellow, I thought that was wrong. I thought Whitehorse bottled it a little bit, and I thought it would have been fair if two players had been shown yellow.
And I would agree there, because that retaliation,
you just can't do it.
Hello, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's inconsistent with what's gone on before. Previously, if somebody retaliates, particularly when they retaliate, that trip, he didn't actually trip him up. He tried to trip him up, but he kind of stumbled and he kept going. So there was no injury. It wasn't like somebody came from behind and just lamped him one or anything. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a high level yellow card. It was a cynical trip. But to then come in and do that, regardless of what's gone on before, that on its own should be a yellow card, and that's the way it's always been treated. If the retaliation justified a yellow card, then it was a yellow card. And I think it's because he warned Cardiff about 6 times. If you do this again, you're off. If you do this again, you're off. You said that 5 minutes.
13 penalties we gave away.
Yeah, I mean,
if you look at the TMO, if you look at the TMO replay, it was from behind the sticks. You couldn't actually see him trip him up. There was no evidence.
No, he did.
He did.
It did happen. Yeah.
But the evidence wasn't there to prove it.
I think throughout the game as well, there was a definite niggle, wasn't there? Like between both, they were taking chunks out of each other.
It was old school.
Every scrum, every set piece, and stuff like that. And I think more had gone on before that. To be honest, like Thomas Young doesn't usually. I know I'm views and like that, but it's unusual for him to react that way. So something's happened before.
I was about to say actually about Thomas Young, it was very unlike him, but I thought it was a ridiculous overreaction. I know what Bradley did, like I say, it was cynical, it was daft, he deserved his yellow, but I thought that was a massive overreaction by Thomas Young, and I get it, it's in the heat of the moment at Derby. There was a lot of niggles. I mean, George Knott got himself involved in a scuffle, which was completely unnecessary as well. There was a lot of to and fro and aggro and need on. I get it, it's a local derby, but I thought Ben. I thought Ben Whitehorse lost control a little bit.
He did. He was out.
But he always does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But you know the one behind the posts. So after they scored a try, and the one where Knott comes running in from like 10, 15 meters. Now I've gone back through that on slow motion a couple of times, and I cannot find something has sparked it, because you don't just go, I know, I've got a good idea, I'm going to run 10 meters and try and lamp someone. What sparked that? Something must have sparked that before, because he was absolutely on fire. He was going to deck it, wasn't he? And I cannot find what sparked it.
There's probably stuff being said, isn't there? You know, words get said, and George Knott didn't need to do that. He just got in the middle of the Cardiff celebrations, and it's obvious, like, you know, that's gonna cause some aggro, isn't it? It's just unnecessary. There's little moments like that, and you know, Di Flanagan did say that there were occasions where, you know, Dragon players crossed the line, and I think, you know, that incident with George Knott unnecessary, Bradley Roberts unnecessary. But I just want to quickly talk about Ben Whitehouse, right? Because I got a feeling this pod's going to be talking a lot about refs, right? But before the game, I know, Lee, I know. Before the game, there was a lot of pissing and moaning from Cardiff fans when Ben Whitehouse was announced as ref. You know, there was all sorts of nonsense on our Twitter account, Twitter feed, about how, he favours Dragons and the Dragons in the end would agree. I mean, someone even said to us, you know, well, that's going to be a Dragons win then. And it was anything but. In fact, I would say, if I was a Cardiff fan, I'd be pretty grateful for Ben Whitehouse, because when it came to the 50-50s, when it came to the big decisions, Cardiff got the rub of the green and the Dragons didn't. So for all the moaning and groaning, in that game, before the moaning and groaning beforehand from Cardiff fans, it wasn't actually justified because Cardiff got the 50-50 calls. And we didn't lose because of Ben Whitehouse. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of Dragons fans as well, you know, on Facebook moaning and groaning. And there was nothing to do with Ben Whitehouse. We lost our game through our own lack of control and game management. You know, 78 minutes, there was a penalty from the line-out. We was offered a scrum, and then we had a free kick. No, we should have took that scrum. But why? Because a scrum runs the clock down. That would have been a sensible thing to do. And when Hanrahan kicked, it wasn't a particularly good kick, that free kick. You just knew something was going to happen. And when Jared kicked that fantastic kick right into the corner, I said to the wife after, I said, that's game over now. And she said, no, they got to go over now. I said, no, Cardiff will find a way. And we lost that game.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying you just knew what was going to happen. When Jared kicked that, our more defence is pretty good, actually. And I thought we did a good job, but you knew that Cardiff were going to find a way to get over the line, because that's what they do in this fixture now. You know, I was reading a stat where out of 15 games, 15 defeats now, this has been, 10 of those have been settled by a score or less, because Cardiff keep finding a way to win and Dragons keep finding a way to lose. You know, there's been too many occasions where we should have beaten Cardiff and we just haven't. And we've got to take ownership of that. And it's a mental block. Part of it is a mental block. They really got to find a way to close out these games. I think sometimes we do suffer from a lack of rugby intelligence and knowing when to take the right decisions. It happened against Bo as well. We went for a scrum. We should have gone for a line-out. Yeah, against the Lions out in South Africa, we turned down kickable 3 points. You know, look what happened. We didn't win. We drew. But, you know, sometimes I think we lack the intelligence and the right decisions, you know. Because that's what
Di Flanagan was saying, I think it was today or yesterday, that they need to learn, and we keep on drilling into them in training, how to finish those games, how to have the confidence to nail them, you know, and it will come.
But
he said after the game we lacked belief, didn't he?
Like the Cardiff side, like a success is born out of like everybody knowing what they're doing, isn't it? Like the try where Adams went over, that was built up by like a couple of forward drives into the defence and stuff like that, and then some very good back play, isn't it, with Jared Evans' ball dropping it down to Owen Lane to cut through. So, and it's been the same, isn't it? It's been a build up to the tries. That's where our success is coming from, and we're doing the same thing every game, isn't it? This is always like a build-up where everybody knows exactly what they're doing, and everybody's making those right decisions at Cardiff at the moment. Not always. I remember the Bulls game.
It's clicking, though, isn't it? Cardiff are on a purple patch, and it's clicking. And I think once you get confidence and you keep winning, you always keep finding a way to win.
And key players have improved different parts of the game. Like you mentioned, Jared Evans. Jared Evans, for like season upon season, has been a great attacking 10. But like you said, that kick at the end of the game, his kicking has improved exponentially. Like his kicking for goal and his kicking out of hand has improved loads. And that's just basically meant with a different team sort of thing.
Well, you create something out of nothing, and that's what a player like Jared Evans can do. Like, I'm still not sure if he's international standard. I don't see him as a Gatland fly-half, and there are still questions about his game management. But what he can do is create something of nothing. He is very, very good when he's on it, and he always is against the Dragons. But going back to Di Flat, and I thought, you know, he talked afterwards, we lacked belief. You know, that's why we didn't win that game. And I agree. I think Dragons did lack belief. I think they lacked a bit of intelligence. And he said a quote as well, which has really stuck with me, because I think it sums us up really well at the moment. He said, we're not too far away, but we're not close enough. And I think that's a brilliant summarisation of the Dragons at the moment.
He's a very astute man.
Very clever man. Yeah, we're getting better, but we're still lacking in certain areas. You know, we still need to learn how to win ugly. We need to learn how to make the right decisions when we're under pressure. But I was absolutely gutted by that result.
But don't forget now, right? With Di Flanagan has been with you for 5-6 months. Do you know what I mean? And in the terms of a long-term project, which when a coach takes over a team, they look at it in like a 3 to 5 year project. You know, they'll have a 3-year goal and a 5-year goal. 6 months in, he's really transformed the way you've played the game. He transformed. I thought your wingers just were outstanding. I'd love to see the stats on that game of how many defenders your wingers beat, because they just upended Cardiff all over the place. And every time they got the ball, you felt there was a try coming. No matter where they were on the pitch, there was something coming, because they just ghosted past players. And that's not something that the Dragons have particularly had, for a long time. They haven't had those killer players on the wings. So, yeah, for me, with 10 minutes to go, I thought Dragons had that. Even with 2 minutes to go, but definitely 10 minutes to go. And I was going, they just need to lock this game down now. They need to look at the clock and start running
the penalty
it down.
Out or something. Just get an extra 3 points, or just to claw into it.
You just go to somebody and you've got a bit of a bad leg. Right, okay, I'm going to go down with a bad leg for 5 minutes, right, get everybody in. Do you know what I mean? That's what we're talking about, that game management, where you just need somebody there with a cool head and a bit of experience to go, right, I just need to get everybody round for 2 minutes and have a chat about what we're going to do on these next plays and slow it down. And then you only play at pace when you're inside their 22 then, and that's when people talk about turning the screw. It's about, playing 10, 15, 25 phases and maybe only going 5 meters, but the opposition don't get to touch the ball. And they're fighting like crazy to get that ball for those 15, 20 phases. And you're just going, next, right, bang, thank you very much, next, right. Now we'll come back here, we'll go there, we'll go there. And that's where I think the Dragons they'll definitely improve after. I think the flaw that Di Flanagan has got is he constantly likes to play open, expansive rugby. That is the way he plays the game from minute 1 to minute 80.
Which very much suits Ashton Hewitt in Real Dollar, isn't it?
Well, yeah, when you've got players like
how
that.
How good was he? He beat 2 men every time I think he got the ball.
Yeah, but sometimes you need to go, all right, I get what we're trying to do, but for the next 5 minutes, let's just not play to that game. Let's just win the game. Yeah, because I definitely thought you had it.
I did.
Every time.
Look, I'll be honest, right? Of all these defeats, right? It's a wretched run. This 15 defeats in a row is just ridiculous, as we said earlier. But I think of all of them, this one hurt the most, because that was our game. It was there to be won. I thought we deserved to win as well. It felt really unjust when Cardiff won at the end. It really did. I know Cardiff fans might say different, but I thought we were on top for a lot period of that game. I mean, the first half, we were completely dominant. And then Cardiff scored 2 tries out of nowhere and take a first half lead. And I'm like, how has that happened? We were in control of that first half.
It was after 30 minutes, isn't it? And it lasted for 5 minutes. And then the pendulum swung back to you for a while, didn't it?
Yeah, but when you got players like, Rhys Carey, Josh Adams, Talupe Falata, who, by the way, put an amazing tackle on Ashton Hewitt. I don't think anyone else would have got to Ashton.
For the World Cup, it's just Falatau, isn't it? Nobody's near.
He's world class, but I didn't want him to have a good game. One game, I love Falatau. He is one of my favourite players, but the one game where you don't want him to do well, and he was terrific, unfortunately. But
if there's any small consolation, when Domachowski went over, I just jumped up from the couch like that. Then I was in agony for about an hour.
Get saying you fucked up your leg again.
Good. Karma. Tough one to take, a very tough one to take. And I just hope the players I hope it doesn't linger on the players too much, because I was gutted after that game. And, I read Di Flan's comments. He said it was an upset dressing room. And I can't imagine how low the mood must have been, But they haven't got time to vote because they got to go to the Scarlets now. we're playing 3 games in 12 days, which is a bit of a stitch up, to be quite honest. It's absolutely ridiculous. So after the Scarlets, we got to play the Bulls 5 days later. I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? Really rough scheduling. It's a big strain on a small squad like ours. So we just got to get on with it now. But
are you both? You and Lee? Are you going to the match?
I am going. Yes.
Yeah, I will. It's I don't think there's a huge crowd.
No, I don't think so.
Because we've got so my boy's got academy tickets, and normally academy tickets are right at the back and the arse end of nowhere, but they're free academy tickets, so that's lovely, great. But this time they're like half decent tickets. And we'll talk about the effect of the Ospreys game in a minute, but it's as a direct result of that Ospreys game and the referee. So when you're talking about Ben Whitehouse, why did people think Ben Whitehouse was a Dragon? Because that comes back to the Dragon Scarlets game earlier this year, where I think the penalty count was 15-3 or something like that at half time. And every time somebody from the Scarlets touched the ball, Whitehouse found something to penalise him. And I was there for that game, and he was fucking atrocious. He was absolutely atrocious in that game. He gave in that game, he gave a penalty against somebody for coming in the side of a ruck who was stood outside the outside off. And it was like the open side flanker or the blind side flanker, and he's going, "You came in from the side of the ruck," and he's like, "I was stood literally 10 meters away."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was stuff like that.
The thing is, the refs can't get it right 100% of the time.
No, but
they rely. They rely on their touch judges. And it shouldn't always be about the ref. It's the game.
I agree, mate. But after that game, Whitehouse got removed from refereeing. That's how bad that game was. Yeah. Whitehouse got removed from refereeing, and he's only just started to come back on the field. He went up, so he's been TMO since that game. He went and did the TMO for the Women's World Cup, and he's been TMO up until this weekend. He hasn't been. I think he refereed one game for a South African side somewhere after the World Cup, but that's how bad that game was for Whitehouse. That he had all sorts of stuff, and he couldn't stand there and defend himself because, like you say, you got 10 cameras around him, and you go look at they get a review the same way as any player does. Monday morning.
It was sorry, I was going to say talk about decisions with Whitehouse. The two that stuck out, obviously, we talked about the one with Thomas Young, yellow card. I thought he bottled that. There was one, I don't know if you saw it. The Dragon set piece actually went well. Our scrum was pretty decent. We were well on top. We had a scrum. I think it's around, Cardiff's line-out is a bit of a weakness here. I think Ospreys could exploit that if they play their cards right. But there was one scrum around the 50th minute mark. We had a really good shove. Carey pops up, right? He's the first to pop up under pressure. Ben Whitehouse gave a penalty to Cardiff. Now, I've watched it back several times, and I don't know why that penalty happened. And that really annoyed me because we were well on top. It was a crucial moment in that game. We were hammering away with their 22. But that scrum penalty made no sense to me. If a prop pops up first, it's normally a sign of pressure. So why did they get the scrum penalty? I don't understand. But with Whitehouse, I don't dislike him as much as some fans. But what I will say is there's a very good reason why he's known as Ben Shitehouse, isn't there?
Yeah.
I ask a question which it shows my lack of knowledge about something. Like, a few seasons ago, anybody that popped up first, the penalty would go to the other side. And I've noticed a lot this season, not just with Whitehouse, but with a couple of different referees as well, sort of thing, but that's not happening.
Because if you come as a prop, if you're an open a loose head prop and you're burrowing in, and then the hooker changes his angle and pop goes in like that, right? Then the opposite prop will pop. And it's not because they've been out scrummaged or anything like that. It's because they've been angled, And you saw it with Nicky Smith in the Ospreys game. Every single time the right foot comes out, it goes and he angles in, And then the hooker, if you look from above, which they don't often do, but if you look from above, you'll just see the hooker angle himself out, they target in on it. And all it does is it puts the opposition scrum at an angle so they can't push. They're going backwards, and that tight head prop goes up. Yeah. And that's why you quite often see now where scrums are going backwards, the referees are looking at the prop angles and are those props going in? And it depends on, a lot of it depends on the bind of the second rows, where the second rows come through. And the easiest way to identify it is where the flankers are. You know, if you look at flankers, are flankers going that way or all flankers going that way? Because they will just naturally come in. So that's what it is. And they're starting to get nobody has the foggiest, let's be honest, nobody's got the foggiest idea what goes on in the front row. I played front row for one game, one game, and I walked with my neck on a 45-degree angle like that for about 2 weeks, nobody knows what goes on there. So referees, who most of them haven't played rugby for 10 years, they haven't got that affection for the game because they've gone to do the reffing. But to stand there and say to a 22-stone prop, you're doing this and you're doing this and you're doing this, it's a best guess. It's a best guess because you're in tight like that. You know, you've got a good about 100 kilos at the minute, isn't it? About 1,000 kilos of pressure going against each other like that. So to turn around to someone and say you've got to do this and you've got to do that and you've got to do that, when you've got that much pressure going against you, you're trying to stand up and just stay in the same place and hope that everything works. So White House hasn't got a clue what goes on in a scrum, but then neither do most referees. You know, and to get
I think we should leave all the referees for the referee podcast. So
let's kind of, man.
The thing is you can't say, and this is what I think people forget, particularly on social media. Like you were saying just now, Jane. White House is you think he's a okay person. You know, I've met White House.
He's decent.
But I've met White House. I met Craig Evans. And they're decent enough people to sit around the table, have a chat with, and they're quite honest about it's a hard job being a referee.
Yeah, it is, in fairness.
So when we're criticising referees, we're not saying that they're bad people. We're not saying you see it as he needs shooting, he needs this, he needs. If I saw him down the pub, I'd do this to. That's just ridiculous stuff. People have bad days. The problem is when a referee has a bad day, that affects more than them. Like you saw with Craig Evans, and we'll get onto that in a minute, but Craig Evans had an absolute shocking day again against the Scarlets. That's the third game now that Craig Evans has had against the Scarlets where it's been everything against the Scarlets. The fact that he comes from Swansea, lives 10 minutes from the stadium and is a big Neath fan is neither here nor there. The fact is he had a bad day at the office. That's a third time against the Scarlets. He's had a bad day at the office. So nobody's saying he's a bad person. He should just stay the fuck away from Scarlets games because there's a some kind of unconscious bias that he's got. That he just, do you know what I mean?
Shall we talk about the Scarlets Ospreys game? Let's move away.
Do you want to talk about the game? Do you want to talk about the ref?
No, Jane, we're done. We're done.
You boys can sit back.
We'll come back to the Blues and Dragons and the teams in a minute. But
okay. So which shit decision do you want to start with? I got about 15, 20 odd shit decisions.
I don't want to talk about decisions.
There's a shock. You don't want to talk about the shit decisions.
How great a game it was. It was a shame that
it was fucking awful, Cowie.
Hey, hang on. Let me finish. Let me have my say. It was a shame that your back row desert was sent off. For a silly I can't tackle effort. And I would have preferred to have stuffed you with 15 players because I think the outcome would have been the same either way. You could have 15, you could have 1. It wouldn't have bothered me because I think the Ospreys, after the win against Montpellier, that confidence shone through and they played really, really well. I mean, once he went off, I thought could be a cricket score, yeah. But fair play, the Scarlet stuck in there, and they gave us a game, and it was that for the try in the last minute in injury time there. Great, we got the bonus point. Happy days, I was over the moon. But you want to talk about the tackles? Firstly, like Reece said earlier about the crowds, fantastic to have a look at the crowds in the stadium. It was one of our followers there, Martin. Now he asked the question. He said, "Should we spread the crowds around the stadium to have more of an impact with the noise?" And he said he spoke to Toby Booth about it. He hasn't come back with an answer yet. But judging by those two derbies, you don't need to do that. Look at the crowds. Can they keep that up? I don't know. I mean, it's a sellout at the Arms Park on New Year's Day. Can't wait. Go in, Reece. We go in. But back to the game. Ospreys thoroughly deserved to win, and you want to talk the referee?
Fuck, they did.
We absolutely pummeled you in the scrumming.
All right, let's fucking start this one then. 3 minutes in. 3 minutes in. There's been a bit of kick tennis, right? Reece Webb, back of the ruck. You were inside your own 22. Back of the ruck. Reece Webb. He didn't knock it on. He knocked it back. Fafita goes to go for the ball because it's out of the ruck. He's behind the back foot. He's onside. He goes for the ball. Craig Evans goes stop. Go back and review it. Craig Evans goes stop. And Fafita goes, what? What happened? Ball up into a next ruck. That's bollocks. Right from the off, yeah? So there was no reason for Fafita to stop there. He could have dived on that ball. Bare minimum, he would have had Reece Webb picked up, going backwards, and we would have gone over the top. We'd have been attacking it because the referee stopped him.
But that's his job. That's his job.
His job is to referee the rules. Tell me what rule was broken for him to say to a player, stop.
Well, I don't deal with the rules. I deal with the watching and supporting the man in the middle. To be fair,
tell me what rule was broken.
Teams.
Tell me why he stopped Fafita from going at him, because that's 3 minutes in. Yeah, that's
you already said it yourself. You said he broke off from the ruck.
No, he's standing on the side of the ruck. He's onside in a defensive position. Yeah.
Well, did it
to charge the kick down? No, it came from Craig Evans. He pointed at him and he said stop. And there's absolutely no reason for him to do that. Yeah, I'm not going to deal with the red card and yellow card. Yeah. I'm going to leave them aside because people are focusing on those. My opinion is that they were both the same. They should have been treated the same. Craig Evans.
Well, actually, with that, my first opinion was actually not for both of them rugby incidents, but because of the safety aspect, they were dealt with properly.
Okay, so let me ask you this: how tall is Reece Davis? 6'8". How tall is Thomas Lozana? 6 foot. There's 8 inches of difference.
But Reece Davis was already at this angle.
No, but he said both players were standing up, which is wrong. Both players were not standing up. Both players were down into a tackle position. Yeah. So to start with, his mitigation, when you listen to him talk, his mitigation, both players were vertical, both players were not vertical. There's 8 inches difference from Reece Davis's head to Thomas Lozana's head. Yeah. And all that happened, it was a glancing blow to the side. Yeah, it wasn't a high level of danger. There was
it wasn't intent. There was no intent. Definitely no intent.
So when you look at the rules around mitigation and what have you, yes, about adjusting height, Reece Davis has to come down in order for Thomas, unless Thomas Lozana jumps 6 inches in the air and fucking nuts him, then he's not getting to his head.
He was already at that angle. He was already down there.
So he's come down. Yeah, so he's come down. So from where he's caught the ball,
we spoke about this before, though, but other players, we spoke about it with other players, where if you're going to make a tackle, get them on the bloody legs.
Hey, mate, I completely agree with that.
None of this up here.
What I'm talking about is applying the rules the same. So when he said he was vertical and upright, he wasn't. He quite clearly wasn't. He could have gone back to the TMO. The TMO could have gone, actually, both players are hinged at the hips. Reece Davis is coming down. Was there a high level of danger there? No, because he was off to the side. Yeah, Reece Davis steps inside and he hits him on the side. This is why so that's why I don't want to deal with that red card, okay, and the comparative yellow card, because to me that kind of smokes over the rest of the bullshit decisions.
But as a game, I thought the Scarlets did well, performed well.
No, you've had your say. Like, we're still on.
No, yeah,
I had to wait. I had to wait for yours.
But I was so pleased. I enjoyed the game. And I'm glad we stuffed here and got a bonus point.
So let's look at the Reece Webb try. Yeah. In fact, now let's look at the first try. Yeah. Where you're attacking in hour 22. I think Owen Williams comes into Costello. Costello sticks him on the floor. He rolls over. Jonathan Davis nicks the ball. Thank you very much. Turns it over under our posts. Costello was released, rolled away. Yeah. And he gives not releasing on the floor. Yeah, so that should have been penalty Scarlets, clear the ball, lovely jubbly. Yeah, and instead
that's in the heat of the game and the speed of the game.
That's bullshit, mate. That's what the TMO is there for.
One chance. Well,
mate, I'm telling you, there are 10. There are 10
decisions.
There are 10 separate decisions like that. These are decisions that should not be taken lightly. Jonathan Davis was standing there and he went, hang on. And then Jonathan Davis, who's captain, said, can you review that? And he went, no, penalty, back 10. Yeah. Our captain asked him to review the decision because he knew it was wrong. And he said, no, go back 10. Yeah. From there, you score. Reece Webb.
Of course, the captain's going to have to review it. You have to try and get in the referees. Yeah, you know.
But the very least
that's what they're there for.
Yeah. He was the man on the ball, mate. You go back and
look
at that.
There's no captain's review anymore, is there? Is that gone?
But that's the fourth decision inside 20 minutes that is not even close to what's actually happened on the pitch. Yeah.
But also
then you go into the Reece Webb try.
You can only play what's in front of you. All right. And
not if you're Craig Evans.
But as a player. If you're not good enough on the day, you're going to lose that game.
Let's talk about when the Ospreys review that, yeah, and Toby Booth sits down and he goes, "Why did we score that try?" Yeah, he'll look at it and he'll go, "Actually, we shouldn't have scored that try because what we should have done, our protection of that player around that ball there wasn't good enough. That was a turnover. We've lost that ball. We shouldn't have scored that try." The Reece Webb try, yeah. Where Reece Webb runs through a massive gap and everyone goes, yay, fantastic. Go back and look at the footage.
You wouldn't complain if you did it for Wales.
Your prop comes in from the side of the ruck, grabs hold of Fafita, pulls him in, so he's not joining from the back of the ruck. He's taking a man who was not in the ruck into the ruck, pulls him into the ruck, creates a gap for Webb to run through, and he's gone. Yeah? Penalty, that should have been a Scarlets penalty. Yeah, that's a Scarlet's penalty, not an Ospreys try. Now, don't tell me they can't review that one because he scored a try. Yeah? So he didn't even review that. Jonathan Davis has said to him, referee, you need to review the ruck. And he's gone, the touchdown was fine. And Jonathan Davis says, no, I've asked you to review the ruck. The man got taken out, and this is a coached thing from the Ospreys because there are 5 or 6 occasions where Ospreys come in from the side, yeah, and just collapse the Scarlets' ball. They just chuck a man over the top of the ball, and he's coming in from the side, yeah.
Did you enjoy the game though?
Like fuck, I did. I'm surprised my television is still in one piece because, honest to fuck. Look at your last try. Your last try, yeah. Sorry, not your last try. The one your hooker scored in the 22. Back of a ruck, yeah. 3 men separate from the ruck and take a step to the side of the ruck and go forward. Straight away, that's a penalty to Scarlets, not an Ospreys try. Yeah, this is what I'm saying to you, mate. Yeah, there are 10 separate incidents in that game that affected the outcome of that game. When Ospreys sit down and review that game...
We were absolutely pummeling you in the scrums, right?
No, you weren't.
And we had a dominant... Hang on,
in the second half...
Let him speak.
Because it's bullshit, mate.
Thank you. No, we had a dominant scrum, and then we were absolutely smashing you backwards, and then it went off to the right. Even after the straight scrummaging, we were pushing you back. It went off to the right, and we got pinged to say the prop had put his leg out.
Yeah,
I mean,
Nicky Smith was at 45 degrees,
but that's
mate,
the wrong decision, Lee, because that's the wrong
Nicky
decision.
Smith was at 45 degrees, mate.
But by that point, we'd already
Nicky
pushed
Smith
you back
is
5
at
meters.
45 degrees. You
But
look
by
at the
that point,
scrum.
we'd already pushed you back 5 meters.
You're only pushing it back because Nicky Smith is coming in at 45 degrees and
but
pressuring the hooker.
He got pinged for that. But that
Yeah, which you just complained
after. Hang on, after the straightness of the scrum, then he came out. But we'd already gone back five meters and destroyed you.
He's not. He's coming in at an angle, mate. Yeah.
After the 5 meter push.
When all the substitutions happened, yeah, come back and look at the scrums after that. When Nicky Smith went off, we started pushing you back in the scrum because your hooker.
You were against our second best then.
No, but your hooker changed his angle to go straight. Your prop changes the angle to go straight. Now you're playing by the same rules as everyone else. That's why you went arseways. And this is what I'm saying, yeah, is Ospreys review that game can take fuck all out of that game because at least 3 of your tries shouldn't have happened. From a referee point of view, 3 of your tries...
Are you bitter, mate? I know you've lost to the Ospreys. I know it's a bit upsetting.
Do you know what? I could take losing, yeah, if that referee had actually refereed it properly, yeah.
Hang on about referees all season. You've blamed the referee all season.
So,
you just need to hang on. You need to
how
accept
many
the fact
yellow
that
cards?
you haven't been good enough on the day.
How many yellow cards did we get in Europe? How many yellow cards? How many yellow cards did we have in Europe? How many yellow cards? None. Not a single one. Different set of referees. Yeah.
But you're still at the bottom of the table, mate. You're still at the bottom of the table.
Yeah. Same rules. Yeah.
Listen, the lads aren't contributing here. Lads, what's your opinion?
So, hang on. So exactly the same rules.
You can't get a word in edgeways, yeah? So don't worry about
it. You're not going to, Car. Yeah. Exactly the same rules. Yeah. Exactly the same team out there playing exactly the same way. Yet we play with an independent referee from England or France, yeah? And all of a sudden we're not getting yellow cards and we're not getting penalised.
Hang on now, you can't go blaming Welsh referees.
I am. I'm blaming fucking Whitehouse and Evans, mate. Yeah? And if you go back and review that game...
Yeah, but they haven't reffed every single game of the season for you.
No, I'm talking about the Ospreys game, mate, yeah? I'm talking about the fact that you go back and review that game. And if you genuinely review that game, you will see that there are 10 separate incidents through that game where Craig Evans got that call wrong. And where we go from... So there was one where Scarlets are attacking, middle of the pitch. Here we're on about your 10-yard line. We're in a ruck. Player at the back of the ruck has got the ball at his feet, yeah? And I think Hardy was on the pitch at that point. And as he's coming over... Your second row sticks a foot through, kicks the ball through, which, fair enough, it goes to Scott Williams, yeah? So it's still within Scarlet's possession. But instead of Scott Williams taking that ball coming onto it at the line, yeah, now your defence is coming up and you're 10 metres ahead. From what should now then be a Scarlet's penalty on the 10-yard line. And that's when we were 7 points behind, yeah? And this is what I mean. So Craig Evans ignored that. And it's a pretty obvious thing, yeah? You're not allowed to kick the ball out of a ruck. And he just ignores that. And now all of a sudden, Ospreys are on the attack, yeah, defensively, but you're on the attack. And we lose the ball. So when you can talk as much as... Well, yeah, you can talk as much as you want about, it's not all the rest of the games and all of that. That game was complete bullshit. When Scarlets review that game, yeah, and you go down and you'll go, right, what could have we done better to actually, adjust that game? Well, actually, everything we did was within the rules. We turned the ball over in our own 22 and we got penalised for it. We held the ball in a ruck. We got penalised
because that one situation, I remember Jonathan Davis, he was on his own arm. He was holding his own weight up to get that ball back. And he looked shell-shocked that the ref pinged him for it.
What, under the post?
Yes, yeah.
The man fell at his feet. He bent over, picked the ball up, turned round, and went to pass.
No.
Yes,
no.
mate. Go back
anyway,
and
ladies
review
and
it,
gentlemen, if you're not too sure, Lee is the Scarlets fan here.
mate.
You're the guest.
So go back and review that. Go back and review that game honestly, yeah. Because I'll tell you what I did. So I reviewed the game without the commentary and all of this kind of bollocks. And this is the problem with Welsh rugby at the minute. Okay. So there's a couple of bits where we're attacking under your post. Reece Webb has got Ryan Elias round the neck. So it's come from the back of a line out. We're driving on the back of a line house and he's got him round the neck. Yeah, you can quite clearly see him. He's pulling him up like that. And they separate. They're out to the side. They're having a little bit of a chat. Goes over, gets held up. You then put the commentary on. Yeah. Brilliant work from Reece Webb. Reece Webb he's got him around the neck. Yeah. But the commentator's going, brilliant work from Reece Webb there. Reece Webb's held that up. They're separated out from the maul. They've gone over the line. And the commentator is still saying that's brilliant work from Reece Webb holding that up. He's 5 fucking meters outside the ruck. And the commentator is still going, that's a brilliant piece of work there. Reece
I thought there was like a 3-second delay on the commentary.
It's not 3 seconds. He was fucking rabbiting on about it when he fucking took the kick. What a brilliant piece of work. Anyway, Reece Webb was 5 meters away.
All right. But look,
it was bullshit, mate. Start to finish.
From my point of view,
bullshit.
It was a great game.
Bullshit.
It was a great result for the Ospreys going forward, especially after the Montpellier game. And it leads up to a cracking match between the Ospreys and Cardiff on New Year's Day. You know, which I'm extremely looking forward to.
Well, you got a decent ref for it, yeah.
Well, when you mentioned, I think Jamie mentioned about points earlier when they played Cardiff. I was reading today, the last few games, the Ospreys have all kept Cardiff to 6 points in the last few games. Literally, they haven't been past them. But I've got a feeling this weekend is going to be a lot different. It's going to be a really close game. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But
it's going to be a close game.
Well, are we moving on? I'm scared to put the bear.
No, yeah, come on.
Sorry, can I just say something first of all?
Let me just finish up, right? There's no point. So there's no point. And this is what I was saying on social media. Half of the problem now with Craig Evans is nothing's going to happen. Yeah. So when Whitehouse got removed, there wasn't a public announcement or there was no apology or nothing like that. Yeah. Scarlets were told and Dragons were told. Yeah. That due to the incidents in that game, Ben Whitehouse won't be ref in that game again. Now he's back fucking refereeing on Sunday. Yeah. Same game. So, but no, there was no public announcement. There was nothing. If you're going to make that many mistakes in the game, the least you can do is put your hand up and go, look, that there were mistakes made. I'll explain myself to the coach. I'll explain myself to the players. Yeah. And I'll step away from the game for a while. Yeah. I'll go TMO. I'll go down to the Premiership or whatever. Because if you want to retain confidence in referees, and this is what I was saying about the Dragons game, James, Scarlet supporters are now going, what the fuck's the point? What is the point in turning up at that game where we play by one set of rules, they play by another, and we've had it all season. Yeah, there was the Ospreys game at the start of the season, then it was the Ulster
just
game.
Sour grapes.
It's not, mate, because you go back and you review the video.
I'm not just sorry. I'm just saying from the comment there. As a supporter, you turn up, win or lose. Look at Jamie. He's been supporting the Dragons for years. He's turned up week in, week out. It doesn't matter. Those fans, if you're a true Scarlet fan, should be
These are the people I'm talking about, mate. These are we are down to that hardcore of fans that we were talking about earlier in the season. Yeah, the Sunshine fans have gone. They've disappeared. They're not there for the Scarlets anymore. We're down to hardcore fans, like we were talking about, people like myself and Jamie turning up for 2 years without winning and all of this kind of stuff. Those are the fans we're down to. And now fans like myself are now going, this is bullshit. What's the point in turning up to watch a game? Because we're not comparing who's better at playing rugby. We're going to sit there and wonder what the referees decided. And
right,
that's,
Lee, let me ask you
rep.
this. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you this question, all right? I want to give you an honest answer, right? So they've played 10 games of URC, the Scarlets, okay? You've had 3 red cards, you've had 11 yellow cards, and you've got just 9 points from those 10 games, right? Is that all the referee's fault?
So take a look at the adjudications off those 3 red cards. Yeah.
That's a yes or no answer.
Well, you're not going to get one. You're going to get an explanation. So off those 3 red cards, yeah, how many have had further punishment and how many of them have said that's punishment enough?
We've talked about this with the Scarlets. We talked about the discipline in previous
so
pods. We've talked about
the question. Yeah, that's
no, but what I'm saying is you can't keep blaming the refs at some point. You could have you at the Scarlets, you have to go, we have to be a bit smarter and our discipline ain't good enough.
So
you can't blame the ref for everything.
Right, when those red cards and those yellow cards are reviewed, yeah, by an independent panel, you get a report back that says this is what the problem was. Yeah, only one of those red cards has had an issue, as in this is what you need to. The other 2 have gone punishment enough. Yeah, the yellow cards, something I think is 50% of those yellow cards. With the report comes back and they go, actually, probably shouldn't. They're not allowed to say probably shouldn't have been a yellow card, but it's the terminology is something like there's no advice to give on this card. Yeah, which basically means that card was probably not given. Yeah, and this is why I was saying to you earlier. There's this unconscious bias now that we don't get in Europe because it's a different set of referees. Yeah, in Europe, when we play in Europe, those yellow cards, those red cards aren't there. We're playing exactly the same game. Yeah, but whether it's interpretation of the rules, whether it's an unconscious bias or whatever, it's not there in Europe. It is in the URC.
I have no doubt there are some decisions that, Scarlets have been unlucky with, right? But the point is, if you're losing week in, week out, and you're giving away cards left, right, centre, you can't just keep blaming the ref. You are going to have to accept that the team needs to improve. Your discipline and defence isn't good enough. And that's why Scarlets are where they are. And that's the facts.
So
you can't go through this every weekly of blaming referees.
So go and look. All right, so tell me where the Scarlets are in terms of penalties in the URC.
I don't have that in front of me.
Okay.
I don't have that information in front of me.
Okay, because it's on the website. Okay. So we are 1 behind Cardiff. So we're better than the Ospreys and better than the Dragons.
You're only 1 behind
No.
Yeah.
So no, in terms of penalties, we give away less penalties than Ospreys and Dragons.
What about cards, Lee? What about cards? 3 red cards, 11 yellow cards.
But this is what I'm saying to you. So those cards are being given, yeah, but when they're reviewed, they're being saying actually probably shouldn't have been given. Yeah. And when we go to Europe, when we play in Europe with a different set of referees, exactly the same rules, the ball is the same shape, the grass is the same colour, yeah, everything else is the same. The only thing that's different is it's not in the referee's head that Scarlets are a dirty team. And that's what I'm saying to you, yeah? It's in referees' heads now. There's this unconscious bias that actually Scarlets are a dirty team, which they're not. And that definitely got into Craig Evans' head on Boxing Day because he's done it before. He did it against Cardiff when we were playing Cardiff.
Lee, mate, listen, we've only got a few minutes left to do our previews. So I think we need to accept that on the day.
No, we don't need to accept anything. Go look at the fucking video.
He sent the new VHS.
So let me tell you.
Erasmus on this pod, isn't it?
So my prediction against Dragons is it actually doesn't fucking care. No, none of the people in Scarlets that I've spoken to, yeah, when we say what about the Dragons game, no one gives a shit. Absolutely no one gives a shit because depends what Whitehouse says. And that's when I'm saying about damage. No, this is what I'm saying. It's damaging the game. It's damaging the game, yeah, because
Scarlets, but no one else.
Dragons are going to come and play and going to give it everything, and we're just going to sit there and go, what the fuck's the point?
But I suspect
And
Scarlets fans aren't happy because they're losing every week. And that's a big part of it as well. I'm pretty sure it's not just referees. It's people don't turn up to a winning team. People lose interest. We've spoken about this before. That's part of the problem.
So
that's just a reality.
But of the first 4 or 5 games of the season, were all pretty much decided on one referee. So we haven't got time to go through it. We went through it at the time. Ulster game.
My God.
The ball. No, but this is the problem, yeah? When you listen to commentators and all, I don't want to go back over to. It's a bullshit decision. It was a wrong decision, and if you don't want to talk about it, then the referee's not going to improve.
Made at the time, and you have to accept it.
No, you don't.
The decision was made at the time. Of course you do, because it's part of the game. The game's gone.
But then the referees should be learning. The referees should be improving.
They learn week in, week out, mate. They learn week in, week out. They go to referee school. They sit down in a little classroom. They have a video together.
Go back through that video, of that game, and show me.
Lee, mate, the lads are going to sign off in a minute. We need to move on to next week.
I've just said to you, it's whatever the Dragons game is bullshit already.
Okay, so what's your prediction?
Go on then.
Nil,
what are you
nil.
saying, Lee?
0-0. It doesn't fucking matter. It's 0-0. Fuck it. That's how angry Scarlet supporters are right now. Yeah, that Craig Evans is going to get so much fucking abuse standing. No matter which side of the pitch he's standing on, that guy's going to get fucking abused left, right, and centre, and it's not going to do him any favours. It's not going to do the Scarlets any favours.
Ben Whitehouse
do the game. No, he's reffing.
It's Ben Whitehouse.
Ben Whitehouse is reffing.
You got them all in one day, look.
Craig Evans is touch judge. So we're going to put Craig Evans 5 meters away. Okay. We're going to put Craig Evans 5 meters away from a couple of thousand Scarlet fans. And it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. We're 5-6 days after that game now, 4 days after that game. And that anger of how shit that referee was has not died. Yeah, that anger is still there. We're 2 days away from the next game where he's going to be stood in front of a couple of thousand of supporters. Yeah, Jonathan Davis is on the bench. Jonathan Davis is going to be running up and down beside him at some point.
He might as well be, because he hasn't been playing well, really, is he?
Who's got the most turnovers outside of Thomas Young? Who's the top Welsh turnover?
Yeah,
Jonathan
Morgan,
Davis, 10. Jonathan, no. Do you know how many turnovers Jack Morgan's got? 5.
3.
5.
Yeah. But collectively,
Jonathan Davis has got 10 turnovers.
But that many turnovers and they're still not winning games. There's something systematically wrong down the Scarlets, isn't there?
Referee. Hey, I'm not saying we're playing perfect rugby, but what I'm saying to you is when you're up against 15 men plus the referee, yeah.
Sorry. I've been told from the sidelines to give over here.
Yeah, but from 3 minutes in, when you're up against it, that affects the way players are playing. And then when it's week on week.
I'm going for a Dragons win. Can I just say that? I'm going to go for a Dragons win.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that?
I just think by 6 points, I thought the Dragons showed a lot of character on the weekend. Their time is coming. And like Lee said, there won't be that many Scarlet supporters on the weekend. I think there'll be more Dragons there to cheer on the team.
But you do know about our horrendous record in Cleffley. I mean, last season was the first time that we actually won at Park of Scarlets. Before that, was Stradi. Cleffley is not a happy hunting ground for the Dragons.
Hang on, you're breaking up.
Different team.
Well, you got Ben Whitehouse again, so this is your 16th man, mate.
No, I heard all this bollocks from Cardiff fans. I'm not having it again because it's absolute rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. I think Scarlets will win. I'm actually going to tip them to win. Although I quite like Steph Hughes has been main captain, which I think is a really good. I love that. But what great! It's a really clever move because it gives him that extra bit of motivation, doesn't it? An extra bit of incentive against the team that let him go. But when I look at the two teams, I do think Scarlets slightly edge it. I think they got a better bench. Like I said, our record in Cleffley is awful. And I think the Scarlets would be desperate, absolutely desperate to get a win. We've had their home crowd.
Is Rob Evans on the bench? I saw Evans on the bench. Is that Rob Evans on the bench?
It is. That is Rob Evans, but we're looking a bit weak at scrum half because obviously we haven't got Rodri Williams because Gonzalo Petrano is missing through injury. So we start with Lewis Jones, which is never ideal. But then we got 19-year-old Shea Hope, and we don't have what's his name, Fairbrother, tight head. We're starting with Coleman, who's coming on well. He's a decent young tight end, but then we got Luke Yendel on the bench, who's never started a pro game. So I just think we're a bit slightly weak in some areas, But I will go for a Scarlets win. Hopefully, you will calm down by this point. Then in the next pod, you'll calm down.
Fucking fuming, mate.
Really?
Because if it was the odd game here and there, you can take it. But that's the third time Craig Evans now.
I think the fact that obviously because it was a local derby, that's the more upsetting thing for you, isn't it?
Well, last time it was Ben Whitehouse against Dragons. Before that, it was Craig Evans against Cardiff. And if the WRU, I said this on my Scarlets pod the other day, if the WRU were looking to get rid of a region, and if they turned around now and said, right, next year we're going to 3 regions, and Gallagher Premiership went, well, one of you can come to us, I'd be quite happy with Scarlets going to Gallagher Premiership now. And I can't stand the Gallagher Premiership. I think it's overhyped and all that kind of bollocks, yeah? But if they said, come and play in the Gallagher Premiership now, I'd go yes. Because the one thing the Gallagher Premiership has got is decent referees.
And crowds.
But it's not even that. No, Newcastle have got like 2,000-3,000 a week, mate. So, you can look at Bristol and then you look at Newcastle and you balance the two out. So, it's not consistent. But what I'm saying is that's how angry Scarlets fans are now, because it isn't one. Yeah.
Right, are you going to give a proper score prediction then for this game? Do you not stick with 0-0 because that's just daft, isn't it? Give a proper score prediction.
Okay.
Yeah.
3-3. That's how angry.
I said give a proper score prediction.
You're right. You're being a bit silly now. Come on.
It does. It genuinely. Yeah, I'll be there at the game. Whatever the score, but whatever the score is, genuinely doesn't mean anything to me after the Dragons game. And I know that's a shit way of looking at it, but that's how bad that when that game sticks with you that much, yeah, that's how bad that game was. Yeah. So
are you going to go Scarlets by 7? That's my prediction.
No, okay, I'm going to go.
Reece, what are you going for? What's your prediction?
Dragons by 2. I reckon like 15-13.
By 2. By 2. I'm going to go for the Dragons by 4. But I'm also going to say the scoreline will probably be like 24-20 to the Dragons.
I don't fancy your chances down there, see. Not in Clefley. If it was a Rodney Parade, I might feel a bit different, but we got a horrendous record in Clefley, and I do think Scots be so desperate to get that win in front of the home crowd. I think they'll...
both sets of players will be desperate to get the win. I think both sets of players will be desperate to get the win.
I just think Scarlett's got a bit more incentive. I think they'll want it a bit more. And like I said, I think they've got a slightly better team when you look at the two teams on the whole.
But I'm looking forward to watching it in the pub in the warm after me and Reece have been to the Arms Park and watched our game.
Yeah, we need to find somewhere where I can just put my leg up on a stool.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I was in Cardiff Arms Park last week, right? And I couldn't believe that you walk into the clubhouse and you've got to avoid the buckets to stop the fucking water coming in from the ceiling. There's like about 6 leaks.
Ball club.
Been here a while.
Genuinely, you walk in and I only went in to go to the bog. You've got to like.
Which part of the club did you go into? Like, innit? The one by the shop, the door. Or was it the main old-fashioned?
The one over by the shop where it's got the pub on the side of it. You walk in and the toilet's right in front of you. And it was if you watched the you wouldn't have watched the under 18s game because it wasn't televised, but it was the second half. It just fucking hammered it down.
Yeah,
and it was literally raining inside the Cardiff clubhouse, mate. It was the most bizarre thing that you walk in, you go, this is like one of the best clubs in Wales, and it's fucking raining inside the clubhouse.
Yeah, we need a bit of work.
Talking to Cardiff, Reece, what do you reckon the score will be, mate?
I've been going back and forth over this. Like the only, not the only. There's many. The weaknesses I see are the front row for Cardiff. We got Davis King coming in. That's in the front row for us. He's been going well. but he's been coming on for the last 20 minutes each game. He's a really good prospect in the front row for the future. But they're giving him a start against the Ospreys. I've looked at your bench and the power that you're going to bring on later, that really freaks me out. We've got Belcher, who, I got to be fair, is coming on leaps and bounds, one of my most improved players of the season. However, still struggles with the line out. Yeah, so that's with the likes of Adam Beard and stuff like that. Ben Davis King will be all right with something like Timani, locking him out. But going back, that's two wicked back rows going hammer and tongs at each other.
Oh yes,
and I think and we've got a good back division out with Liam Williams coming back in as well, a fullback.
Good to see him back.
I'm going to take my own side. I'm going to say we're going to edge it. It's home park where I know your confidence is up as well after the past couple of victories, but I reckon Cardiff by 5. Can I say Cardiff or Cardiff?
Cardiff. You're right. I think we've got a solid pack. Like I said, we've got to have Dowie Lake coming back there as well. We've got Nicky Smith and Thomas Francis and Dowie Lake as our finishers coming on there. I think we've got a crack team. I think Ethan Roots has been playing really well. My only worry, two small wingers on, elusive wingers, and then we've got a small. I've not seen Jack Walsh play at fullback, so he is my concern at the moment. We've got 3 small lads in the back 3, maybe rapid, good skill levels. Have they got enough to cope with Cardiff? When you got is Owen Lane playing?
Owen Lane's he's right.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
at the moment running at Owen Lane could be your key.
On the other wing, we've got 2 big lads.
But that's a different winger entirely. I think Ben Thomas is slotting in at 12, so that'll give a nice bit of class. It's not much of a loss, I think, in the midfield. So really low who's always brilliant for us, and Ben Thomas who gives a bit of creativity and an extra 10.
Grady on the bench. It'll be nice to see him coming on to the pitch.
But I do think that we lose it is either the front row or the game management of your outside half.
Jared Evans is a good player.
The game, but if Owen Williams plays playing, he'll manage the game better than Jared.
Owen Williams has really settled the ship for the Ospreys. I think I'm really pleased to see him there. Hopefully, he'll stay on longer. But I've been to 2 matches with you now, home and away race, and I've won them both.
I've only been to 3, really. Yeah. Every time I go with you, we lose. So, but it hasn't been for years now, with different people.
We've had a bit of a hiatus there now.
And you've been to Ireland. That's got to count for something.
Exactly. I'm going to bring the Leinster luck to the Ospreys team. So I'm going to go for an Ospreys win by 3 points. It's going to be a really tight, close game, I think. And I'm really looking forward to it.
The rest of you? What are you reckoning? What are you saying?
I don't like writing Cardiff off at the Arms Park because it has become a bit of a fortress, and they are the form team in Wales right now. But I am going to go for an Ospreys win. I think they've got the stronger team on paper. They've certainly got a better pack than Cardiff. I think it could be a long day at the office for Cardiff for that pack. You look at their replacements. I don't see how Cardiff are going to cope with that pack. And your line-out is very, very fundable. I thought Dragons did a very good job on the Cardiff line-out. And I think if Ospreys turn on the power, as they did against the Scarlets, I think their pack would be very, very difficult to live with. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. We know Cardiff have got a fantastic backline, but against this Ospreys pack, I'm not so sure they're going to get a job done. So I'm going to go for an Ospreys win by 5.
So I'm going to go Cardiff win by 10. Yeah, I just think that there's a bit of false confidence in the Ospreys. I think you've got Alan Wynne-Jones, who just gives penalties left, right and centre now. The weather for Sunday is horrendous. And
No, it's okay. It's better than it was.
Still horrendous, though. It's going
to be dry. It's going to be dry.
That's not what they said earlier. They said earlier it's going to be pissing down and windy. So
it's going to be
I think when you've got Webb kicking,
it's going to be fun.
I think Webb's kicking 80% at the minute. It just plays into Cardiff's hands. And you've got Liam Williams coming back with a point of proof, playing on home turf. I think it's just going to kick you off the park.
I'm looking forward to seeing Liam Williams coming back to play. I was there when he got injured against Munster, so I'm looking forward to seeing him come back.
Wasn't that his first game?
He's looking sharp in training, by all accounts.
Yeah, that was his first game in a Cardiff shirt, wasn't it? So
it was his first game,
yeah.
Off he went.
So, couple of other games coming up, gents, that we won't have another pod before these games come up. So the under-18s, we talk a lot about what's coming through. So the under-18s games, we're in the middle of the under-18s championships. Now, last year, this was all on S4C. It was all streamed on Facebook and Rugby Pub and this, that, and the other. Not seen anything at all this year. So results so far, let's go right back. So Cardiff beat RGC. No, Cardiff beat RGC because you've got RGC and you've got 5 in this. So you've got Cardiff beat RGC, Ospreys beat Dragons. Dragons then gave RGC a bit of a tonking. Cardiff beat Scarlets 21-12. That's the one I was there for. So this week we've got Ospreys at home to RGC on Wednesday, and Scarlets are at home to Dragons on Wednesday as well. So I think Ospreys usually play down at Llandarcy. I'm not 100% certain where Ospreys play their under-18s games, but it'll be on their socials. So it's usually £3 to get in, and it's usually 7:15 kickoff. So I know the Scarlets are 7:15 kickoff, and Scarlets will be at Parker Scarlets on Wednesday as well. So that'll be Scarlets, Dragons, Ospreys, RGC. So there'll be 2 really good games to go and watch because we're looking at the players that are coming through. And this is what I was saying earlier. Have you seen where next season starts? Said there's a rumour going round that next season starts like the week of the World Cup final, like the week before the World Cup final. So we're looking at starting next season halfway through October or the end of October, something like that.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. But that'll mean that there'll be a ton of development games from kind of mid-September onwards, where lots of the young players will come through and we'll have a lot of chance to look at younger players. But that's it. If that's to be believed, that's a really bizarre start to next season. But
sorry, can I just say on the next pod, sorry to interrupt, because you went on such a rant, we didn't get time to talk about. We need to discuss as well. Wales made coaching changes this week. Stephen Jones, Gethin Jenkins. We haven't had time to touch on that, reflect on it. Yeah. So I think for the next time we need to talk about that because it is pretty significant news.
Yeah, but he should have made bloody what's his name, the forwards coach is
Humphreys. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. Yeah, they're surprised that he stayed. Yeah, but we could need to talk about that.
But he should have made replacement appointments apparently by first week, and they said that they were going to sign the club agreement first week of January, didn't they? So there should be.
That won't be done.
There should
be longer than that. Yeah,
a load of stuff happen by the end of next week. So, but yeah, if anyone is around, say Ospreys under-18s at home on Wednesday to RGC, Scarlets under-18s at home against Dragons as well. So there we go. And so just as well, the girls under-18s kicks off the week after that as well. So that's on the 11th. Correct. So yeah, there's lots of additional rugby to look forward to as well, gents. So there we go.
Happy days.
Cool. Are we all done, gents? Are we all done?
Are you done? That's the question. Are you okay?
Put the fork in. He's done.
I'm worried about you, Lee. I'm very worried.
Mate, you can have 3 sessions.
Still,
you need to lie down, mate. You need to lie down straight away.
Trust me, I've been
early night for you.
Going through that game over and over and over, and it just at some point, I've tried going, got to let it go, but then you go, and then they go
symptoms of grief.
but then they go, and here's the referee appointments for the Dragons game. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, gents, James, we will catch up before the Scarlets game, mate. We'll catch up in the bar.
Yeah.
In the bar, mate. And the other two can we'll have competitions. See who does the best selfie together.
Photos, yeah, absolutely. Photos. Hey guys, Happy New Year, yeah.
Yeah,
Happy New Year
to everyone. Nice. Jamie's allowed
and
back
to
on the beer tomorrow.
Right.
Right. All the best, gents. Catch up with you next week.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to this week's show. We hope you enjoyed it enough to come back next week and listen again. So please do subscribe, rate and review the pod, as it really helps us on most of the platforms that we appear on. You can keep the conversation going on Twitter and Facebook by searching for us on WRAP, WRRAP, or you can email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. We'll be back next week to do some more of the same. We hope you'll come and enjoy this, and in the meantime, enjoy your rugby.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.